Hi, welcome to another episode of Startup Stars. I'm here with Thirukumaran Nagarajan. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
The founder of Ninjacart. So Ninjacart, thank you so much for joining us first off. And Ninjacart is a supply-based B2B channel. And what happened? Sorry. So we're supply-based. Sorry for that pause. We had a little technical issue. So Ninjacart is a supply-based B2B company.
So we are actually an alternative marketing platform for farmers to sell vegetables and fruits directly to retailers.
Okay. So before we get into exactly what you do, a lot of people I'm sure would have heard about farmers' problems and government issues with how much waivers to give. But what exactly is the problem you've seen with farmers and agriculture in general in India?
So I cannot comment agriculture in general, but I can definitely comment on vegetables and fruits in India. What I have seen is actually the vegetables and the fruits farmers are actually well-to-do farmers. It's a very profitable business.
Okay.
For give you an example, right? You invest 50,000 rupees in a 1 acre cauliflower farm. At the end of 6 months, you make around 3 lakh rupees. That's 6 times the returns. But still, an Indian farmer is very poor. His state of living condition is very poor.
Why is that?
Primarily to do with marginal farming. When I say marginal farming, the average land holding of a farmer is very less. So whatever profits he makes, though the business is a profitable business, he takes the returns to run his family. Actually, the problem he's facing is he's not able to reinvest more or aggregate more land and do farming at a higher scale.
Oh, so you're saying, so if you buy a 1 acre plot, you're saying you get a 6-time return in 6 months. But how big are their plots?
The plots, like average land holding on a farmer is like at lesser than 2 acres. Okay. And in 1 acre, you can harvest for 6 months to 9 months, and the remaining time the land has to be left so that the soil crop rotation can happen. So if you have a 5 acre farm, actually a farmer can make roughly around 7 to 10 lakhs a year types kind of a revenue. Okay, but the point is the farmer is not that big. He's very marginal. That's what makes a farmer's life poor. But horticulture as such is very profitable. The risk of crop failure is very less. The water necessary is very less because a lot of advancement in terms of drip irrigation has come.
Okay. So and this is across India or just like
this
in
is
Karnataka?
Across India. Okay. Wherever the climatic condition is suitable to grow vegetables and fruits, in those areas it's better to produce vegetables and fruits. It's profitable. The crop failure rates are low. The water requirements are low. And if you have access to markets, then the life is very simple. Okay. The problem is not only farming more, but it's also about access to markets. That's what the major problem is.
Okay, when you say access to markets, do you mean the farmers themselves, they live too far away from cities, or how does that work?
Yes, let's say average distance of a farmer who's supplying to Bangalore, if you say, it's around 150 kilometers to 300 kilometers. Okay.
Wow, so they have to travel that distance theoretically.
So theoretically they don't. Actually, they have middlemen who help the farmers get the items from the farmland to the city. Okay.
And these are unofficial guys?
These are unofficial guys. There are aggregators in the villages, there are transport partners, there are vendors, etc. Right? But the major problem is the farmer is not able to trust the middlemen. So whenever he has a crop, at least once or twice a week, he has to come to the market to know the reference market price, to know whether the middleman is giving him the right price.
So the middleman will say the price of tomatoes is 2 rupees, then he goes sell for 8 rupees.
8 rupees. So he has to come. So if he has a produce throughout the month, let's say every time he has to come, which is a hassle for him. So that is why he is also not willing to grow more, because the hassle of coming, checking the prices and going back and again doing
so
farming.
He's not fully utilizing his land because there's that incentive is not there.
Incentive is not there. There are a lot of travel that is there. So the linkages is the biggest problem. So that is the space where we are trying to come in and trying to solve the problem.
Okay, so what you're doing is trying to make a more official, more infrastructure-based supply chain.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm guessing you were telling me off camera, you've got a radius of 300 kilometers from Bangalore. So you're just based in Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu right now for Bangalore. Do you supply villages or only supply the city? We
supply only to retail stores in Bangalore currently.
Okay, and these are all the small kirana store types?
Yeah, small kirana stores, a mom and pop store, a very small standalone supermarket kind of people like who daily goes to the market in the morning to buy their vegetables and fruits. They can place the order right now directly in Ninjacart, and we supply to them every day morning.
And how is that, like a e-commerce platform, or you just go on and say I want
No,
300 carrots?
It's an app given to all the retailers. Every day between 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. they can check what are the stock available with us. He can add it to his basket and he can place an order. The next day morning, the item comes to his store at around before 8:30 a.m.
Okay, and so it's that simple, the process.
Yes.
And you can guarantee every day that you're going to get a certain amount of vegetables and fruits to give to all the shops.
We have a certain amount of stock. Let's say, for example, in our inventory we have 4,000 kilos of tomatoes. Okay, every time a retailer comes and he places an order, we keep reducing it till the stock is there. The retailer can order.
So you got a buffer amount.
Yeah, when a stock gets over, then we stock up.
Okay. And these retailers, is it a cheaper price for the retailers to use you, or is it more expensive?
Yes, to a retailer we give 5 to 10% lesser than what he will get from the market. And also in terms of quality, we have very standard quality. If a retailer goes to the market and buys, he goes in the morning, he cannot check the quality of all the vegetables which he is buying. Sometimes he gets cheated, sometimes he's okay. But what Ninjacart offers is, we give a standard quality of vegetables and fruits to almost all the retailers at the same price. And these prices typically 5 to 10% lesser than the market price.
Okay. And these apps, I'm assuming the farmers can also download them and check the prices and see that everything is equal.
Yes, for a farmer, we have 3 channels of communication. One is an app, another is an IVR, another is an SMS. Because
what is an IVR, sir?
IVR is an interactive voice call where, let's say, your farmer gets a call on his phone and he say press 1, press 2, kind of interaction which we are able to do. Because not all the farmers have smartphones, but definitely all the farmers have mobile phones.
Right, okay, so SMS is working.
Yeah, SMS and IVR, yeah.
Okay, and in the last 3 years we've been working since Jan 2015. Have you seen any change? Like, so you've brought farmers on board. I'm guessing not the whole village comes to join you once, 10 farmers will come and join you from every village. Now you've got a massive 300 kilometer radius. You're bringing all this stuff to Bangalore every day. You've got a 12-hour turnaround maximum. So have you seen any growth and enthusiasm for the farmers joining your platform? Or is it the same number and you have to go to a new village, get new guys?
No, actually there are farmers who have supplied to us for more than 800 times.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that is a kind of relationship we have. It's been like 3 years since we are present, and from day one there are farmers who are still supplying to us.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the kind of reach we have with the farmers. Okay, so but the problem here is it will not be continuous because sometimes they have crop, sometimes they don't have crop. Based on that, the number of times the farmer gives the items keep changing. But they are very happy with us. It's not only in terms of more income; it's also in terms of the way we handle his produce and the cash. Let's say previously if he sells to a market, he gets the items in cash after 7 days. So he has to keep the books of accounts. Okay, I sold today 10 kilos, tomorrow 20 kilos, tomorrow 30 kilos at this price. This much of amount I have to get, but this has come in. This is not to come in.
Oh, so you're slightly formalizing a very informal sector.
Yes. So we tell the farmer, this is your bill. Tomorrow morning, this money will be in your bank, and it goes into his bank account. Okay. So that makes his life much more simpler. Yeah. And let's say not only that, like previously he has to get the item from his farmland to a central point in the village, and these farmlands are mostly inaccessible. Right. And but we send our trucks, small trucks, to get the produce to our place. Okay, and in a market, when an auction happens, primarily the items are not weighed. Let's say it's a bag, and they say approximately this bag will be 30 kilos, so I'll pay money for 30 kilos, but it can be 35 kilos also, it can be 40 kilos also.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because the farmer completely packs the sacks, right? So we digitally weigh the items and we buy, so the net realization is much more higher for him than selling to the market.
Also, simple margin things where he knows now the price of the market, he knows how much he's actually selling and making sure everything goes to the market instead of just being wasted left, right, and center. So
previously, what happens is when a farmer takes item to the market, and if you are not able to sell, then what typically happens is the inventory risk of not selling belongs to the farmer. Right. So here, what happens is in his village we take the item. Once we take the item, the risk belongs to us. So the farmer is much more happy.
Okay, so there's no travel cost, nothing. It's all cleared off immediately. Yeah. All right. But you said something interesting in the middle where the farmers get their money immediately. It goes to their bank account. So I've got to ask, you started in 2015. Did you see a spike in interest in your platform after November 2017 when a lot of people were forced to open bank accounts?
No, actually, the problem is it's a disaster for us because on one side to the farmer we give them in terms of bank accounts, to a retailer we collect cash.
Oh, so your supply went up and your demand
went down. Okay, so a lot of farmers are willing to give to us, but the problem is we didn't have a lot of demand because the retailers are not able to give us cash.
But now that the retailers are all on Paytm and XYZ platforms, does
actually,
that help you?
That doesn't help us because we recently did an estimate around only 20 to 30% of the shop's money comes in the form of digital. The rest all is still cash.
Ah.
So the shopkeeper doesn't have a digital money to give it to us. So he still pays us with cash. Okay, because otherwise he has to take this money, deposit in the bank, and then
link the account and send. Okay.
So that is not still kicked in, and this 30% is only in areas like HSR, Bellandur kind of places. But if you go to the northern part of Bangalore, the western part of Bangalore, this ratio is further down to 8%.
Okay, so Bellandur, HSR is slightly better off areas.
Yeah, even in those areas, it's only 30% types. In northern and western part of Bangalore, it's much lesser.
Wow. Okay. So then I've got to find out now. You've got these people. Oh, so how much is the amount these guys usually pay, the retailers, when they buy in the morning? Do they buy massive amounts, or is it like 500 rupees?
So it varies from 1,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees.
Okay, and that's more interesting because people would assume that 1,000 rupees is a Paytm kind of amount. A lot of people would be happy to pay that. You're saying that even though they pay 1,000 to 10,000 rupees every day, they're happier paying in cash.
Cash.
Okay.
Otherwise, Paytm also, they has to pay a charge for converting the Paytm currency into cash, right?
Into your bank account.
The margins in this business is very less. The margin might be more, but since the perishability is high, the net margin you make might be lesser. So they don't want to part away with 2%, 1% or 2%, and even we are not greatly willing to part away with 1% to 2% for no reason, because that's a huge money for us. We are thinking when UPI came to picture, we'll be able to solve, but even still UPI charges like 0.7% types.
But it's still something for no reason.
Yeah. So we are thinking that maybe when the transaction fees goes to zero, then we'll adopt digital systems.
So now you're telling me that this week you're moving to Chennai, trying to set up operations there as well. So how the basic thing of, weather is different there, it's closer to the sea, so it's more humid. How does that affect your ability to standardize quality?
So if you see, right, most of the horticultural crops, primarily vegetables and fruits, are grown on the Deccan Plateau, which is the area between Chennai and Bangalore. Okay, so if you see for both Chennai and Bangalore, the points of supply is almost the same.
Okay.
So let's say the places where we procure to supply to Bangalore, from the same place we are able to supply to Chennai also. So
then that becomes an interesting point of, do you give them a choice? You're saying in Chennai the price of tomato is 6 rupees, but in Bangalore it's 6.5. So they can say no?
No. We fix this common price and we buy it at that price.
Okay. So you make your margins based on wherever it's better.
Yes.
Alright. So then you're not looking to engage with farmers outside the Deccan Plateau, so if you go south of Chennai.
So we are doing, it's not like we don't want to do, but what I'm trying to explain is the source, the point of procurement is almost the same for both the cities. And since we are already present there, we are able to procure from there. But if the source changes and it goes down south, we'll also go down south. Our logistics network is very agile, so we can adapt to any kind of procurement piece.
So talk about your logistics system for a bit. We've got multiple collection centers. So I'm using each collection center has got enough. How many people? 5 to 10 people to
4 to 5 people.
4 to 5 people. Sit there, test the quality of the stuff, make the payments, everything. For how many villages would each collection center have?
So each collection center has a radius of 5 to 15 kilometers.
5 to 15. So 3 to 4 villages.
Yes.
Okay. So 3 to 4 villages, 4 to 5 people doing that job. How many collection centers?
We have currently around 32 collection centers.
32 collection centers. So that's almost 100 people in just the collection centers.
Yes.
Plus whoever's driving the trucks every day. So it's another, how many, I would say,
so we have
people?
around 130 to 140 trucks.
130 to 140 trucks and double the number of drivers, or?
Almost the same.
Okay. So that's an organization of 200 people for just Bangalore.
No, we are a total organization of 600 people.
600 people. Where are the other 300, 400 people?
So it's like the collection centers, and then you have fulfillment centers, and then you have distribution centers, and then you have people in the sales, people on the procurement, converting farmers. Then you have the technology team, tech team, product
So if you take out the tech team, the central team sitting out of Bangalore and creating the app and all that, I'm talking about the guys working the logistics supply chain.
That will be 300 people, 300 in operations, 100 around 120 in operations, around 80 people in sales, and around 80 people in farmer procurement.
Okay, so you're saying 300 for Bangalore. Presumably you can take at least half of them for Chennai.
Currently, but we are growing to 300 for Chennai.
So each city would presumably that kind of size.
Yes.
So are you planning or are you dreaming of eventually hitting all the major markets?
Yes.
Yes. And what about smaller towns, the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns that aren't agricultural but need that supply chain?
So our strategy is in the next 3 years, the cities we want to expand is after Chennai we'll go to Hyderabad, and then we'll go to Mysore and Coimbatore.
Okay.
Because since our procurement is very strong in southern India, we want to capture the South India because we can leverage our existing procurement network.
And how much have you seen support from the government in this? I mean, because you're solving a big problem for them.
Some governments are extremely supportive. For example, Andhra government is extremely supportive. Though our demand centers are not in Andhra, for the collection centers we are setting up in Andhra Pradesh, we are getting subsidies for that. Due to certain reasons, right? The government, if you see, say that you have to own a land and then only they can fund the infrastructure subsidy for that. Okay. But no company is going to own the land.
Yeah, no one's going to buy land to build a
it works on a lease place where the government says okay, it is not possible, and but the Andhra government is flexible enough to come and say it's okay, you don't own the land, but you at least lease it for 10 years so that I'm sure I'm going to give money to a guy who is not going to run away, right? And that sounds good. That's like you're solving the problem. See, what I'm thinking is the governments want to help farmers or help companies or helping farmers. The intention is there, but to protect from fraudsters to get the subsidies and run away, which has been the past. They are protecting so much so that no one gets it.
Right.
Kind of stuff. The people who can create an impact are not going to get it. Right. That is a hurdle which every government is creating, knowingly or unknowingly. Okay. There is no one to blame. The intention is there. The intent is there. The policy is there, but it is not getting implemented. Then the government should go deep to figure out why it is not getting implemented. What are the bottlenecks? Maybe call us and have a conversation. Though there are a lot of governments who have called and had a conversation with people in this space. A lot of change has not really happened in the policy framework.
Right.
But whereas Andhra government is like very quick to act.
Well, that seems to be their default stance on everything, not just agriculture.
Yeah, they are very quick. They want people to come and do change. Right? There's no point in just sitting and thinking that things will happen on its own. You have to change.
Okay. So, I think that covers actually. Oh, we've got one last question for you. One which I think viewers might like a lot is, you've replaced a lot of jobs, a lot of unofficial jobs from people who, as you said yourself, were not doing the best by the farmers. All those middlemen who used to take the vegetables to the cities. Now these guys can't be happy. And if you've dealt with people, in the unofficial sector in India, they tend to not like it when someone comes in and takes over their business with no cut for them. So have you had problems with them? Have people come and threatened you? Have you had any of those?
So we do faced very sporadic kind of events where people come and try to threaten us, but we have dealt with it. And off late, the people have come to understanding that it's very difficult to stop Ninjacart from doing what it is trying to do, and they are saying, okay, if not that we are going to fight them out, let's try to accommodate and see how we can coexist. And Bangalore market is a huge market. Currently, if you see, right, Bangalore consumes 14,000 tons of vegetables and fruits, and Ninjacart does 160 tons. It's not even a drop in the ocean, so people are not really feeling the impact of it, and they are saying that maybe in the future Ninjacart will take a portion. We will also be able to do, and we will be able to coexist. Is what is the current thought process is around. And these guys are also not very well organized.
So just random guys saying, I will take you down. Okay. So there's no actual security there. It's just more people who are annoyed they lost a job.
No, small hindrances here and there. That's all. Well, it's easy to handle.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's very informative.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see a private company that's figured out a way to both solve a major issue in the country, but also make money, which I'm sure your investors are very happy about.
Yeah. Our investors are extremely happy with us.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thanks.